The first time I landed in Europe, I stood at the edge of a bustling city, backpack slung over my shoulder, heart pounding with excitement, and a little bit of fear. Could I really see all these iconic places without draining my savings? As I gazed out over the rooftops, camera in hand, I promised myself I'd find a way to make every moment count, no matter my budget. But I also knew I'd need to get creative. I started jotting down every tip I heard from fellow travelers, determined to make my adventure last as long as possible. I quickly learned that you don't need to be rich to experience the magic of Europe. With a little creativity and a lot of curiosity, I discovered ancient ruins, vibrant city life and hidden gems, all while keeping my wallet happy. Let me take you on my journey, sharing the hacks that turned my dream trip into reality. One of my first discoveries, free city walking tours. In almost every city, I found passionate guides eager to share their stories for just a tip. It was the perfect way to get oriented and meet other travelers. My first night I wandered along Amsterdam's canals, the city lights shimmering on the water. The gentle rocking of boats, laughter from cozy cafes and the timeless beauty of the city made me realize adventure doesn't have to be expensive. I skipped the pricey canal cruises and instead bought a 24-hour public transport pass, which included the city's ferries. For just a few euros, I got the same magical views as the tour boats, plus a ride with locals. In Spain, I found myself on a sun-drenched terrace in Alicante, savoring tapas as the lively chatter of locals filled the air. The flavors were unforgettable, and surprisingly affordable. My secret? I always ordered the Menú del Día, a set lunch menu that locals love. For under 10 euros I'd get 3 courses and a drink, all while soaking up the city's energy. And in Greece I watched the sunrise over Assos, the sky ablaze with color as the Ionian Sea sparkled below. Moments like these felt priceless. But I was spending less than I ever imagined. I learned to travel overnight whenever I could. On a whim, I booked a Flixbus night route from Athens to Thessaloniki. Not only did I save on a night's accommodation, but I woke up in a brand new city, ready to explore. The bus was filled with other backpackers, all swapping stories and tips. I made friends on that ride who I'd later meet up with in Budapest and Prague. But let's be real, Europe can get pricey, fast. My excitement sometimes faded when I saw the cost of tourist hotspots or got hit with surprise fees. I worried I'd have to miss out, but I refused to let money hold me back. I started tracking every euro, using budgeting apps to keep my spending in check. It was eye-opening to see where my money went and where I could cut back. That's when I started searching for real travel hacks. I learned how to stretch every euro, find deals and experience the best of Europe without breaking the bank. Now, I want to share those secrets with you, so you can travel smarter on a budget. I made a habit of planning my days around free museum hours and city festivals. Some of my favorite memories came from stumbling into a local celebration or art exhibit I hadn't even planned for. And I always checked for student or youth discounts. Even after I graduated, some places still honored my old ID. First up, flights. They're the gateway to adventure, but also the biggest expense. I used to think cheap flights were a myth, until I found the right tools. I set up price alerts for every route I wanted to try. Sometimes I'd get a notification at 2 a.m. for a flash sale, and I'd book instantly, knowing the best deals disappear fast. I switched to skyscannerbooking.com and Google Flights, setting my destination to everywhere. Suddenly, a world of affordable options opened up. I found deals I never would have imagined, just by being flexible and curious. I even tried flying out of smaller airports nearby. A short train or bus ride could save me hundreds, and I got to see a new town along the way. The real trick? Flying midweek. Tuesdays and Wednesdays saved me a fortune. I watched for flash sales, booked ahead, and let the deals guide my route. Every euro saved meant more adventures ahead. I also learned to pack light, just to carry on, so I never paid extra baggage fees. That meant more money for experiences, not stuff. And I always checked budget airlines' direct sites for promo codes and last-minute offers. Trains became my favorite way to cross the continent, romantic, efficient, and often cheaper than flying. I'd grab a window seat, plug in my headphones, and watch the countryside roll by. Sometimes I'd pack a picnic from a local market and turn the ride into a moving feast. I grabbed a Eurail pass and hopped between countries, exploring new cities without the hassle of buying tickets for every leg. It was freedom on rails. I always checked for regional passes too. Sometimes a local deal was even better than the big-name options. For local rides, I used apps like Omio to score last-minute deals on trains and buses. Comparing prices on the go helped me save time and money, and sometimes led to spontaneous adventures. In Lisbon, I picked up a Viva Viagem card at the airport for just a few euros. I could hop on trams, buses, and even ferries all over the city, no need to buy single tickets. In Berlin, the ABC Pass let me travel from the city center to Potsdam, and even the airport, all on one ticket. I loved the freedom to explore without worrying about extra costs. Next challenge? Finding a place to sleep. I learned that affordable beds are everywhere if you know where to look. I'd check hostel booking sites for last-minute deals and sometimes scored a private room for the price of a dorm. Hostels were my go-to, but I also found hidden gems, guest houses and even university dorms open to travelers in summer. Each place had its own story and I met people from all over the world. I always read reviews carefully. Sometimes the cheapest place wasn't the best value, but a little research paid off in comfort and safety. Couchsurfing was a game changer. Staying with locals, I got insider tips and made real connections. It wasn't just about saving money, it was about sharing stories and discovering the city through their eyes. My hosts in Budapest took me to a hidden ruin bar, and in Paris, I joined a family dinner that turned into a night of laughter and new friendships. When it came to food, I skipped the tourist traps and hunted for authentic flavors. The best meals were often the simplest and the cheapest. I started using the Too Good To Go app, picking up gourmet meals and bakery treats at a fraction of the price. In Copenhagen, I scored a box of pastries for just a few euros, breakfast and lunch sorted. I always looked for the daily menu like in Bellagio or Budapest, where a full meal came at a fixed, friendly price. It was a delicious way to eat like a local. In Italy, I'd grab a slice of pizza from a tiny bakery and eat it on the steps of a centuries-old church watching the world go by. Even in cities with a pricey reputation, Dubrovnik, Geneva, Lisbon, I found hidden spots serving amazing food that didn't break the bank. I'd ask locals where they ate lunch and almost always ended up somewhere off the tourist map, eating better and paying less. Lucerne, Palma de Mallorca, Prague, everywhere I went, there were local eateries and secret gems with authentic cuisine at great prices. In Prague, I found a tiny cafe serving homemade goulash for less than a coffee back home. It became my go-to lunch spot for a week. San Sebastian, Venice, Vienna, Warsaw, each city offered something unique from street food to Michelin stars. I learned to follow the locals and trust my instincts. I'd wander the markets, sampling cheese in France or fresh olives in Spain, and sometimes that was lunch. Some of my best lunches were three-course feasts for under 10 euros. Savoring Europe's flavors didn't have to cost a fortune. My favorite hack? Local markets. I'd grab picnic supplies, find a sunny spot in a park, and watch the world go by. It was the perfect way to soak up the city's vibe and save money. In Paris, I'd pick up a baguette, cheese, and fruit, then picnic by the Seine as the sun set. It felt like a luxury but cost just a few euros. And the best part? The most unforgettable moments came from unexpected adventures and authentic encounters. Like the time I joined a street parade in Lisbon, swept up in music and laughter, or when I stumbled into a tiny art gallery in Florence and ended up chatting with the artist. Some of Europe's top experiences were totally free. I joined walking tours, explored parks, and stumbled into festivals, all without spending a cent. I'd check city event calendars for free concerts or open-air movies. In Berlin, I caught a jazz show in a park that became the highlight of my week. I strolled the medieval streets of Assos, wandered through labyrinthine alleys, and admired the timeless architecture, all for free. I'd download free city walking apps, letting my phone guide me to hidden corners and secret viewpoints. I hiked Lombardy's lakes, explored mountain trails, and found breathtaking views that didn't cost a thing. Sometimes I'd join a group hike organized by a local hostel or community center. Free, fun, and a great way to make friends. I caught live music in Vienna's squares, letting the city's culture sweep me away. I'd linger after sunset when the city lights came on and street performers took over the plazas. From Amsterdam's canals with their houseboats and historic bridges, to the hidden courtyards of Krakow, where I'd sip coffee and journal about the day's adventures, to Prague's old town charm, with its medieval architecture and vibrant energy, I realized the best moments were always the ones I never planned for. I found unforgettable moments, without spending a cent. These free experiences became the heart of my journey. I learned to say yes to new friends, new foods, and new adventures even if they weren't in my guidebook. So, pack light, stay curious, and remember, the real magic of Europe isn't in your wallet, it's in the adventure. Embrace the unexpected, connect with locals, and let every day surprise you. And don't forget to share your own hacks with the next traveler you meet, because the best tips are always passed along, one journey at a time. Safe travels. May your journey be filled with unforgettable moments, new friends, and the joy of discovering Europe without breaking the bank. See you out there, on the road, in the markets, and maybe on the next night bus across the continent. What's the cheapest country you've been to in Europe? Drop your answer in the comments. We're always hunting for the next budget getaway. Share this video with anyone dreaming of Europe on a budget. Hit that like button if you love exploring Europe on a budget, and subscribe for more secrets from the road. We drop new adventures every week. Happy travels, fellow adventurers.